Imagine if everything you thought you know about the shape of our world was wrong. For thousands of years, humans believed Earth was flat. Then we discovered it was actually a sphere. But now, in the 21st century, this ancient belief is making a shocking comeback. Why are millions of people rejecting scientific evidence and returning to this ancient idea, and what does this tell us about our relationship with truth, authority, and why every nature of belief itself? Let's play a quick game. If I hand you a globe and a flat map, which one looks more accurate to you? Obviously the globe, right? But did you know that right now there are still millions of people who believe the earth is completely flat, that planes fly in circles, that NASA fakes space photos, and that the governments are hiding the truth from us all? Sounds crazy, right? But here is the thing, this belief isn't new at all. In fact, humans once did believe the earth was flat. No, this isn't a joke. This is real belief held by millions today, because this isn't just about Earth being round or flat. It's about truth, trust, and how easily misinformation spread in the digital age. What if I told you that in 2023 a survey found that 7% of Americans still believe the earth is flat? That is over 20 million people in an age where you have satellite, GPS, and literally photos from the space. How is this possible? We are diving into the history, the science, the psychology, and the internet culture that keep flat earth movement alive. And by the end we will see not just why people believe it, but how did it actually matter for us, all of us. Let's rewind a few thousand years. Most ancient civilizations like the Egyptians thought the earth was flat, shaped like a disc floating in water are held up by a gods. In ancient Norse mythology, the earth was imaged as a flat circle surrounded by oceans, guaranteed by a giant. But here is the twist, not everyone thought that. As early as the 6th century BC, Greek philosophers like Pythagoras and later Aristotle noticed something strange. During nuclear eclipse, the shadow Earth cast on the moon was always round. That could only happen if Earth itself was spherical. By the time of the Middle Ages, educated people in Europe already accepted that the earth was flat. In fact, Columbus did not prove the earth was round in 1492. People already knew it. He just underestimated its size. So yeah, your high school teacher might told you that Columbus discovered the earth is round. Spoilers, already he did it. He just got lost. And then in the 20th century, humanity actually went to space, snapping photos showing a beautiful blue globe spinning in darkness. So the belief that earth is flat is actually the minority view, and modern science have given us plenty of proofs otherwise. Then come the 20th century, and while space exploration provided undeniable visual evidence of Earth's spherical, small pockets of flat Earth belief continued to exist. But it wasn't until the dawn of the internet that this idea really found a new platform and a much wider audience. Okay, so what are the actual scientific proofs that Earth is round? Let's break it down simply. First, gravity. Gravity pulls everything towards the center of mass on a sphere. That's mean down and is always towards Earth's core. On a flat Earth, gravity would pull sidewise the farther you move from the center, which clearly does not happen. Second, the horizon. Ever notice how ships disappear bottom first when sailing away? That's because they are going over the curve. Same with watching a sunset. The sun does not sink, it dip below the curve. Third, space photos. Since 1946, we have had photos of Earth from space. Today's satellites give us live streams, that is billions of dollars. Thousands of scientists in multiple countries all faking it together. You can see the curvature of the earth with your own eyes. It's undeniable. And if you still do not believe the astronauts, you can prove it yourself with a stick and a shadow. Just did over 200 years ago. So when and how did humans first realize earth is round? The first written evidence comes from around 230 BCE with Greek philosopher who noticed Earth's shadow appear around during lunar eclipse. But it was Aristotle who really on the evidence around 350 BCE. He noticed that even ships sailed beyond the horizon, that the mast remained visible after the hull had disappeared. Exactly what we would expect if they were sailing around a curved surface. And one of the most direct proofs, photos from space. These images come from different space agencies worldwide, not just NASA. Finally, circumnavigation, the ability to travel all around the planet in any direction and return to your starting point, would be impossible on a flat disk. Pilots, sailors, and even satellites are the everyday informative of Earth's roundness. Now, here is the real question. If the evidence is so obvious, why do people still believe Earth is flat? Psychologists say it comes down due to three things. First, mistrust of authorities. Governments have lied before, so many assume they lied about everything. Second, need for control. Conspiracy gives simple answers to complex problems. Third, community. Believing in something hidden makes people feel like they have a part of an exclusive club. Research tells us that when people feel disconnected, powerless, or confused by complex ideas, they sometimes rely on simpler, emotional, satisfying explanations. So flat earth theory becomes a kind of community, a way to belong, to feel ahead in knowledge, or to question authority. Plus, in an age of information overload, it's easy to get lost in echo chambers where false claims spread quickly, especially when official sources does not communicate well. The internet changed everything. Around 2015, the flat earth movement exploded on YouTube and Facebook. Suddenly, a small community of believers have a global megaphone. A 2019 study by the Texas Tech found that most people who attend flat earth conversation has been convinced by YouTube videos. Think about that, not books, not schools, not even friends, but algorithm recommended videos. Social media thrives on engagement, and conspiracies content keep people hooked. The more outrage the claim, the more click it gets. Research analyzed Philip and 6,000 tweets found false statements were reported quickly, reached more people, and had more viral quality than true news stories. Creators often use sensitive evidence, misunderstand science, or even make misleading claims to gain views and followers. It's important to note that the online nature of the flat earth movement can create an illusion of a much larger following that actually exists. A relatively small but vocal group online can create a significant impact of content and discussion, making it seem more whispered than it is in reality. Believing in flat earth is less about evidence and more about identity. It's about feeling smarter than the sheep, about rejecting mainstream science. There is almost a deeper mistrust. A few study polls showed only 26% of Americans have a great deal of trust in scientists. That distrust opens the door for conspiracy. Studies show that when people feel aligned or powerless, they are more vulnerable to conspiracy theory. It becomes a way to feel in control in a complex world. We touched it earlier, but let's dive deeper into the psychology behind flat earth belief. A significant factor is a deep seated mistrust of established authorities, scientists, educators, government, and even space agencies like NASA. For some flat earthers, the idea of global conspiracy to hide the truth about the Earth's space fits into a broader worldview of distrust towards these institutes. We often hear quotes like, "I trust my own eyes more than what scientists tell," or "NASA is just a giant propaganda machine." These statements highlight the core issue of fundamental breakdown of trust in scientific institutes and a preference to personal, often unverified observations. And here is where it gets messy. Some influencers profit massively from spreading flat earth ideas, selling books, merchandise, or monetized content. For them, it's not about belief, it's about business. One YouTuber admitted, "I did not even care if the earth is round or flat. I care about people are watching my video." The dangers of misinformation are as entertainment. Consider this: NASA receives about $65 million per day in taxpayer money. Flat earth proportioners suggest this money fuels on elaborate conspiracy with fake photos and rocket launches. Social media creators quickly learn that controversial content generates more engagement and revenue. Promote flat earth YouTube channel can earn thousands through an ad and revenue, merchandise, and paid conferences. The first Flat Earth International Conference in 2017 was sold out, with hundreds paying to attend. When something becomes this profitable, it creates financial to keep promote these ideas regardless of their truth. You might be thinking, who care if some people think Earth is flat? But here is the problem: mistrust in science spreads. The same mindset fuels denial for climate change, vaccines, and even basic history. When people stop believing evidence, society struggles to make good decisions, and that affect us all. So is the earth flat? No. What is fascinating is why people believing it. The takeaway here is a simple: question everything, but question with evidence. Be curious, be skeptical, but always be open to facts. Because in a world full of misinformation, scientific literacy isn't just knowledge, it's survival. If you enjoyed, hit like and share it with friends, and subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.